Hey guys, I'm here to read Chapter 8 with you today of the Golly Whopper Games. It starts on page 65. It's a little bit long, so I might stop in the middle and record this in two parts. Here we go. Gil thought he might explode. He'd just inhaled 2 hot dogs, a bag of peanuts, a slice of pizza, and some cotton candy, all washed down with a giant root beer. When he'd first gotten into the food line, he didn't think he'd be able to eat a thing. But if Golly was giving away free food, he was taking it. Right now, though, he volunteered to make a trash run. He needed to stand and give the food space to spread out. Back at the concession area, he turned to the left, against all the arrows from the previous game, and started a lap around the stadium. He was tempted to pick up more peanuts and a few candy bars to take home. That stuff was expensive. Would it make him a thief, though? Probably not, but he'd live without it. He'd made it to the next round. He'd get at least as much as the last group to leave. A $50 Golly gift certificate plus an autographed Scorch CD. But now he wanted the whole pizza. He wanted the prizes and the victory. He wanted Bert Gollywop to look him in the eye and shake his hand. He wanted to give his dad the opportunity to return to Golly headquarters tomorrow for the first time in 18 months with his head held high. Mostly, he wanted a fresh start, to move to Phoenix near his Aunt Catherine, or to St. Louis where his parents had met at college. Only a win could guarantee him enough money for that. Gil wished he'd made a different deal with his dad. Gil could have said, "If I get into a second round, we'll move, deal?" But no, he needed to win. Gil grabbed a bottle of water and headed back to his seat. Sidled through the row. Sat. You look tense," said his dad. "A lot of pressure. Only if you want it. Nothing will change if you win or lose. Nothing important, that is." Did Dad forget their deal, or was he being philosophical? Gil took a hard gulp. His dad looked at him. "You okay?" "Yeah, just..." Gil hesitated. "Just wondering how many contestants are left," he said. "I'm thinking 842. "No, last round eliminated more folks than that. They probably didn't think someone so young could start such a huge company." "So how many?" said Gil. "Wild guess? 550, said his dad. "Go beat 'em all." As if on cue, the buzzer sounded. "Ladies and gentlemen," Randy boomed, "please direct your attention to the desks on the field. Each is identical. No desk will give you an advantage over another. I invite you to make your way to one of these desks. Adults, please accompany your contestants to the seat. Then return to the stands as this portion of the Golly Whopper Games continues." Gil turned to Bianca. "Doubt I can help you there. Doubt you can help me. This may be it." "Hey," she said, flashing him a huge smile. "We got this far, didn't we?" They walked toward the football field, where desks stood in rows, spaced 2 yards apart, spanning the width of the turf. They all faced the stage in the center. Gil spotted a desk on the 32-yard line between 2 that were already occupied. He took that one on purpose. To his left sat a spindly boy with glasses. To his right, a girl whose face looked about 14, but whose black ponytail and pink ribbon belonged on a preschooler. Perfect. No distractions. He looked up at his dad and smiled. "I'm good. I'll be in our old seats, remember? 30-yard line, west side." Gil's dad put his hand on Gil's shoulder. "Gotcha." Before his dad could leave, the mother of the ponytail girl marched up to Gil's desk. "Excuse me," she said. "I couldn't help but overhear. You seem to know exactly where you're going after this, young man." "Yeah. This stadium is so large, I'm afraid I'll lose Lavinia in the crowd. If I sit near your guardian, could you leave Lavinia back?" "Sure, no problem." Gil glanced over at Lavinia. Expected her to be under her desk from embarrassment, but she sat there like she was used to this. Then she looked at her hands. She was gripping them together so hard her knuckles turned white. "Very well," said the woman. "I'm Mrs. Plodder. And your name?" "Gil." She looked at him like she expected more. He stood. Pleased to meet you. I'm Gil Goodson. This is my father, Charles Goodson. Pleasure, she said. If you'll give me 1 minute. She went back to Lavinia's desk. Are you sure you're all right here, dear? She said. I'm fine. At least they had bottled water. You never know about water in these small towns. Remember what happened when you attended that scholars competition? I'm fine, Mother. Gil shook his head. Did she think they got their water straight from the creek? All right. Do remember to follow this nice young man afterward. We're really axe murderers, Gil wanted to say. His name is Gil. Yes, Mother, I heard. Mrs. Plotter turned to go off the field, and Lavinia, I'm probably butchering that. Lavinia looked over at Gil with her large brown eyes. Sorry, she mouthed. No problem, Gil smiled, and that smile eased his shoulders until Randy's voice blared again. Congratulations on making it to the last stop in today's competition. Please pay particular attention to these instructions, said Randy. On your desks, you have a pen, a pad of paper, and a gadget that looks like a calculator. We call this your keypad. First, look at the number on your shirt. That's your contestant number. Punch the exact number into your keypad, then press the enter key. Gil pulled out his shirt and rechecked to make sure the number still said 24682. He punched it in, looked up, and had to laugh. Some of the other contestants were contorting their shoulders, craning their necks, almost turning their heads upside down to read their numbers. The announcer continued. Now, get ready for the question. The question. Your answer to this question, one question only, will send 10 of you into the grandest competition we could conceive, the ultimate final rounds of the Golly-Whopper Games. Your answer will be a whole number. You may use the pen and paper on your desks to calculate your answer. You may not use the keypad. It will not work as a calculator. It will only record your answer and transmit it to our computers. So punch in only your answer carefully. Once you've pressed enter, your answer has been recorded and you may not change it. You will have 10 minutes to accomplish this task. When time is up, your keypads will lock automatically. Our computers will determine the 10 contestants closest to the answer. In the event of any ties, the winning spots will go to the contestants who entered their answers first. For this part of the Golly-Whopper Games, you may not receive help from anyone. Do not stand up. Do not kneel on your chair. Remain silent. Any violation of these rules will result in immediate disqualification. The number will remain on the scoreboard for the full 10 minutes. Here it comes. Add the number of instant winner tickets that were available for the games, the number of squares on the checkerboard, the date in August Golly opened for business, the number of people going to St. Ives, the number of contestants now remaining, the number of spots on a pair of dice. Then multiply that total by the number of different toys and games Golly introduced in its first year of business. Gil's heart pumped so loudly he couldn't hear himself think. His mind went blank. Don't panic now. Settle down. Breathe. He stared at the question. Add, multiply. This was math. He was great at math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 questions to answer. 6 numbers to add together. Then 1 more question to answer and 1 multiplication problem to work out. 1 step at a time. The number of instant winner tickets. Easy. He wrote 500. Squares on a checkerboard. Same as a chessboard, but he'd never stopped to count the squares. He'd count now. How many pieces spanned its width? Forget the pawns that all look alike. On the bottom row, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 1 king, 1 queen. They took up 8 spaces, times 8 going the other way. He wrote 64. The date in August Golly opened for business. August 11th, yesterday, on Old Man Golliwop's birthday. Should have wished him happy birthday. Whoa, Goodson, stay focused. He wrote 11. The number of people going to St. Ives. Where was St. Ives, and who gave a flying fart anyway? St. Ives? St. Ives? and lives? No, wives. The old nursery rhyme. Did he even remember that? Yeah, he did. He stared at a nick in the desk and ran the rhyme through his mind. As I'm going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kits. Kits, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to St. Ives? 7 wives times 7 sacks, 49. Times 7 cats. Wait, no, they weren't going to St. Ives. I was the only one going to St. Ives. Gil wrote down 1. Number of contestants now remaining. He couldn't have studied for that, but he could do some figuring. 100 yards on a football field. Desks spaced every 2 yards. That was 50 rows. No, 51. He had to include both end zones. But wait, rows spilled upon the 2 end zones too. 10 yards per end zone for maybe 10 more total rows, plus 4 more in each end zone past that. Now, how many desks in each row? Gil looked up and straight ahead, trying to make it clear that he wasn't cheating. The row several ahead of him held 16 desks, but the row ahead of that had 15, and then there were the incomplete rows on either side of the main stage, about 1,000 desks minus the 1 that were empty. What now? What should he put down? He'd guessed 842. His dad, 550. Which one? His dad had been closer before, but would it be cheating to use his number? Doubtful. It's not like they knew that their guesses would be part of the games, but Gil didn't want to take that chance. Only one way to go. He added the 2 numbers and divided by 2. Then he wrote his answer, 696. The number of spots on a pair of dice. Too easy. He wrote 42 on his paper. I'm going to pause it here, and you can continue listening to Chapter 8 in the next video.